Hello, it's me, Unsolicited Steph. I am finally back with another video. I know it's been a little while, but there's been a couple of things going on in my life, and I'm sure that if you are here because you already know this channel, then you know that I am an architecture student as well. So fitting all of this study and all of the video making in at the same time has been a bit of a challenge. I have just had like 3 weeks off from uni and I have not recorded a thing. It's been really nice. But from now on, I'm really gonna try, I promise. I made that promise a few months ago. I'm really gonna try and get on top of these videos because I feel like a lot of you out there are finding it helpful. If you're new here, then I'll explain a little bit about who I am. I am Steph. I'm an architecture student as well as a graduate from the bachelor degree, the undergraduate degree here in Sydney, Australia. I also work as an architectural assistant doing small projects, which is really fun. And I like to make things, including videos and tops. If you want to follow a little bit more about my life, then check out my social media at Unsolicited Steph on Instagram. I share a little bit more personal stuff there, as well as more about my style. But today's video is going to be about Crit Day, which is sure to take a few people back to a traumatic experience in their life, or maybe you're watching this video because you're procrastinating, preparing for your own upcoming Crit Day. And basically, I just want to give you an idea about what to expect, how best to prepare before Crit Day, and how best to manage yourself on the day, and yeah, just some general tips at the end. So yeah, let's get into it. First things first, I really hate the term Crit Day. Just the word is really gross and it would send a shiver down anyone's spine, let alone someone who's suffered even a whiff of architecture school. Coming into architecture school, I was wildly underprepared for what the style of assessments would be. And you have to do presentations at architecture school, which is kind of different to any other sort of university degree where you kind of have to write essays or assignments. I was really not prepared for that at all, and it was kind of alarming and confronting at the same time. If you're a current student, you will know what I'm talking about, but for the uninitiated, basically the way you're assessed at architecture school is that you have to pin up all of your drawings, present all of your models in about 10 minutes, and have feedback face-to-face in front of your entire class, sometimes given by people who you've never even met before, they're guests, and you have to respond to their questions in real time, defend your proposal, and 9 times out of 10, they will get stuck. The graduates will get stuck on something really insignificant that is really insignificant, that is not relevant to your broader idea. If you know, you know. Anyway, to help you get through Crit Day, to help you survive, the first step is to stop using the phrase Crit Day and start thinking of it more as a design presentation or intense feedback session. The word crit conjures horrible feelings about the interpretation of the phrase critique, which is then conflated with the term criticism, when really the meaning of the word critique has more to do with analysis and assessment. That was a bit of a tangent, but language is really important and powerful in terms of framing, and it can have a huge impact on your psychology, so pay attention to that. The other totally awful thing that persists in some pockets of the architecture world is this power trip that tutors and jurors bring to presentation day, where they kind of get off on grilling someone about their design, which is just super uncomfortable and potentially really upsetting for the person presenting, which is absolutely no way to learn anything at all. All you're learning is in that scenario is to get really defensive, and frankly, we don't need any more anxiety in our lives. Right, with all of that out of the way, here are some things to help you, actual practical tips to help you get the most out of the feedback session that is known as Crit Day, and I'm going to break it up into 3 parts: before Crit Day, on the day, and some general stuff. Before Crit Day. Number 1, think about the information you think is most important to communicating your ideas, and prioritize completing those or working on those elements for your panels. Taking a couple of minutes to plan out how to lay out your panels will help you determine the tasks you have to do in the time remaining before your presentation. Some things to include might be A, Sketches from your notebook. Get organized and scan them early so you can quickly tidy them up in Photoshop and anything you need to tidy up before you put them onto your panels. Also, any relevant site analysis information and concept development you might have done. Scan that in, tidy it up, make sure it's ready to go. Think about the position of the different plan, elevation, and section drawings in amongst all of the other information. Number 2, once you've got all your bits and pieces together for your panels, put them on a page and do a test print as early as you can. Maybe some parts of your panels will just have placeholders, that's okay, but make sure you print something out. Once you've got your print, put it up on the wall, take a few steps back and see if your drawings are able to be read across the room. See if your drawings are showing the way that you intended them to. If people can't see your drawings, then they can't give you very good feedback, and that's where they get caught up on like tiny things. One day I got absolutely roasted, and it was very well deserved because I hadn't done a test print and I'd sent my drawings off to the printers and none of the print colors showed out properly, so my drawings just couldn't be read. Thankfully, we still had one more submission to go, so I actually changed all of the color in my drawing. I changed it all to grayscale, and in the end it worked a lot better. Things on the screen will always look different to real life, so make sure you do a test print. Seriously. Number 3 is to think about what you're going to say. A way to help you with this is to explain your ideas to someone completely unrelated to your project, like your mum, your brother, your housemate, your cat, whatever. Through doing that, you'll figure out where the gaps in the information are or what needs further clarity before presentation day. Since you've been in the project, it's very clear to you, but someone who's outside it, they need to be given all the tools to understand it. Try to use very plain language. That's what I try to do in all of these videos. Don't fall into the Argy speak trap, or your audience will just tune out, glaze. And for the most important thing you can do before crit day, before your presentations, is, drumroll please, you guessed it, sleep. Architecture's culture of all-nighters is super toxic, and frankly, it's totally unnecessary. Think about it. If you are so tired on the day of your presentation, do you think you're going to be able to actually take in any information? Do you think you're going to be able to present in a coherent way so that the audience understands your ideas? No. Obviously, the answers to those questions are no. Those are rhetorical questions. So please, just sleep. Seriously, sleep. And if you need tips for your time management, funny you should ask, because I already have a video about that, which you can go find out up here, and maybe I'll link it below if I remember. Good job. Now we are all ready for our presentation. Now we're going to go to sleep, we're going to wake up, and it's going to be crit day. Moving on to part 2 of the video. Number 1, always introduce yourself to the guests who have come to give feedback. It's a courtesy that will go a long way. Be respectful to your tutors and the guests. They're making time for you. You never know where you're going to end up in the future, and they might get in touch to offer you a job, or you might come into contact with them in a professional setting later down the track. So be respectful. And along with that, be on time. Number 2, talk to the audience. Refer to your panels, refer to your drawings only when you're trying to emphasize what you're saying. Too often people stand up and talk to their panels and the audience can't actually hear or can't see the drawings because they're being obstructed, or the person is just like not talking to the audience. Everyone there in the room knows how nerve-wracking it is to get up and speak. Everyone has been through that process, the guests included. No one tells you just how much public speaking is involved in architecture when you sign up, but presenting is a big part of being an architect. So you've got to get used to it and use this as an opportunity to practice as well. Number 3, this is a game changer. Record your feedback. In the moment while you're standing up the front, it's natural to sort of zone out or completely miss what's happening because your body's adrenaline has kicked in and you might experience the fight, flight, or freeze response. That's totally normal. In that case though, when you're in that mindset, you won't be able to absorb any of the oral feedback in the moment, which can often be the most important thing that's not captured in any notes. Ask the panel before you start if you have their permission to record the feedback session and open up the voice recorder app on your phone, or even just like record a video and leave it on the table. Most will understand and they'll allow it actually these days. And you can be sneaky about it. This is what I used to do before I had the balls to ask. Like, if you're too scared, just start the recording when you get up and put your phone in your pocket, or just leave it on the desk or something, and I can record that way. You didn't hear it from me though. Also, it's fairly common in that moment to only hear the bad stuff, which can take over your brain. And that's totally, like, I've been through that so many times. Having a recording then allows you to go back and revisit that feedback, and it'll give you a chance to hear the positive stuff that was said as well, which you might have missed while you were up there frozen in front of the class. The fourth thing you need to do on crit day is listen to your colleagues. A lot of time on crit day, there's a lot of sleeping that goes on because everyone's really tired. There are all those few people who sit up the back and like drift in and drift out only for their and their mates' presentations. And they don't listen to everyone in the group. That's really disrespectful to everyone who's put in a lot of work. But at the same time, you can also learn a lot from listening in to the feedback that your colleagues are receiving. Maybe you're gonna notice something that they did really well in their drawings or something that can be improved. Maybe the feedback's gonna align kind of with your own feedback, and then you can implement that as well to develop and learn. But the whole point is learning, remember. It's also really good to see someone who you're maybe not even that good friends with, and you get to see a different style and a different approach, and that can be really refreshing and kind of open up your mind a little bit to maybe how you'll approach things in the future. And the fifth thing, ask a friend to take notes. While you're up there presenting, as I said, it's natural to go into the fight, flight or freeze response, and that makes it difficult to take in new information. Public speaking is people's worst nightmare, and then having to do it in a super stressful environment makes it even harder. You'll relax a bit more if you know that there's a friend to help with taking notes for the feedback, so you don't have to be processing everything in the moment. Recording it is best, like I said in the other tip, but if you can't record it, then ask a friend to take notes for you. And finally, the last thing on crit day, my piece of advice, is to take questions on notice. You will be asked a lot of questions while you're standing up there from your tutor, from the guest crits, maybe from people in the room, and you don't actually have to answer everything that's thrown at you. In fact, answering everything can kind of give the impression that you're getting a little bit defensive, which won't go down well. You aren't expected to have all of the answers to all of the questions. So try taking some on notice to answer on it later on, or admit that you didn't even think about X, Y, and Z. That shows some good self-awareness and an opportunity for growth. So those are my tips for on the day. And finally, we're going to wrap up with some general advice. Crit day is inherently stressful. It's on you to try and take as much stress out of it as possible. So as well as all of the other things I said in this video, some general things to think about. First one is to try and detach yourself personally from your project. Don't refer to it as my building, because it's not. Whatever you're designing is actually hypothetically for the user. It's for everyone else. It's what you're offering. It's your proposal. It's not just for you alone. Also, in the real world, most designs don't come out of one genius architect brain. It's a massive misconception, and it kind of adds to the pressure when you don't really realize that before you're out in the real world. Detaching your own heart and soul from the project will enable you to be more objective about the more successful and the less successful parts of your proposal, so you can reflect critically and improve next time. The second general tip is that crit day is kind of like giving a pitch. You have to convince the audience that what you're proposing is worth developing, worth taking further. No one is expecting you to have designed every single little part of the building. What they're looking for is the development of the concept and how the rationale for the decisions you made emerged. Basically, they just want to see how you ended up where you did. You're going to have a really hard time and face a lot of pushback if you can't explain logically how you ended up with your proposal. It's like in maths, where part of the mark comes from showing you're working. Even if you get the incorrect number or the incorrect answer overall, at least we can follow the steps you took on how to get there. Well, that is my video on how to prepare for crit day. Make sure you get some sleep, think about what you're going to do, plan your work, and I guess the last thing is to just remember that you don't have to have the finished product, you just have to have a proposal. At the end of the day, architecture school is about learning. It's not about having the answers just yet. No one's expecting you to be a brilliant architect. That's why you're a student, not an architect. That's why it takes so long to become one, because there's a lot you have to learn along the way. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel. I'm gonna try and make more videos more regularly. And I forgot my sign up again. Oh no, I remember. You have been you. I have been Unsolicited Steph. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.